Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining myself and Councilmember LaCava here at our very active construction site. We have two very special guests that are joining us today. From the Environmental Protection Agency, Assistant Administrator Fox is with us, as well as Regional Administrator Guzman. These two women are at the leadership of the Environmental Protection Agency, and I appreciate their visit to San Diego, taking the time to come see the largest infrastructure project in city history, an active construction site currently employing hundreds of San Diegans, and a project that's going to secure our water future going forward. This project would not be possible without the partnership of the federal government, of President Biden and his administration, and of course the EPA. These folks are critical for pure water, as well as helping clean up the Tijuana River Valley and other important projects throughout San Diego. So the fact that both of these folks are here with us today is really important for San Diego. I also want to thank Councilmember LaCava, who is the chair of the Council's Environment Committee. We happen to be in his district today, but he's also leads point on projects like this one that are really critical for the sustainability of our city going forward. We've just completed a tour of this site, this existing treatment plant that has been here since the 90s, and then all of the construction that is going on to actually create the Pure Water project. This is currently, which will be a 5-step purification process. Pure Water is a result of a decades-long partnership between a diverse series of stakeholders are sharing with the assistant administrator, business and labor, the environmental community, city officials, other folks, all working together in a way that's getting something really big done. And that's the only way it can happen, right? Teamwork and partnership across multiple agencies and organizations to get a big project done. These partners have come together not just to solve a regional wastewater issue, which is significant, but also to simultaneously provide a new water resource for San Diego, a new sustainable local drinking water supply. In the context of the drought that we're dealing with, you can understand why this is so important for San Diego's future. And this is also a model for the rest of the nation, and I'll allow the assistant administrator to share a little bit more about that. But the phased multi-year program that we're deploying here with advanced technology to purified recycled water while reducing treated sewage discharge into the ocean by nearly 50%, this is really nation leading. This is where San Diego's stepping up, and we believe other communities will follow behind us. Amid the historic drought, as I mentioned, that we're currently experiencing, Pure Water's ability to provide nearly half of our daily water use by 2035 is really significant for water reliability for San Diegans. There are 11 construction projects that make up phase 1 of the Pure Water program. 9 of those projects have been awarded, and the final 2 will become awarded in the coming months. Phase 1 will produce 30 million gallons of water every day by 2025 at a total cost of $1.5 billion. Phase 2 will produce another 53 MGD for a total of 83 million gallons per day. Over both of these phases, we anticipate this project will generate 1,000 local jobs. Because Pure Water San Diego is covered by our project labor agreement, we have ensured that these good paying jobs will be kept local and staffed with local San Diegans. And by the way, this is a very long construction process, so we're talking not just about jobs, but really about careers that provide the kinds of wages that allow folks to make ends meet in a town as expensive as San Diego. And again, we're glad that those jobs will stay here local for San Diegans. In the meantime, Pure Water, of course, is not online yet. It's 2022, not 2025 yet. So I want to take this opportunity in your presence here today, which I deeply appreciate, to remind San Diegans that we all have a responsibility to conserve water amid this drought, which is significant. We have a lot of scrutiny from our state and federal partners asking what we're doing to conserve. San Diegans know how to conserve. We've done it time and time again. And I really want to put that call out to San Diegans to do your part, make sure that we waste no water, find always to conserve water in your daily life. It's critical so that we can avoid the potential for more dire water situation in the near future. With that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Assistant Administrator for the Environmental Protection Agency, someone who's been a true partner to San Diego, not our first opportunity to meet, and I'm so grateful that she would take the opportunity to travel 3,000 miles to be in San Diego to see this project that we're all so proud of. So I give you Assistant Administrator Fox. Pleasure.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope that you're doing well. And, Mayor, I just want to begin by thanking you for your leadership. EPA is all in on this Pure Water project. In fact, San Diego is one of the few communities around the country that have received not one, but 2 WIFIA loans in support of this project. The City of San Diego has also been extremely successful in accessing state revolving loan fund dollars to also support this project. So about $1.2 billion in EPA water infrastructure funding is going towards pure water. That is how important we think this project is to the future of San Diego. And really, there's only more to come with the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law. Over the next 5 years, the Environmental Protection Agency is going to be investing $50 billion in water infrastructure projects just like this. So it's really been incredible to see the just sophisticated thinking behind this project, the way in which this construction is happening. It's smart, it's thoughtful, it's things that other communities around the country can learn from. So again, congratulations, Mayor. Can't wait to see the groundbreaking in 2025, and thank you for your wonderful work. With that, I'd love to introduce my friend and colleague, Martha Guzman, who is the Regional Administrator for Region 9.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, my name is Martha Guzman. I'm the EPA Regional Administrator here based in San Francisco. And we are very, very enthusiastic to be here to see the progress on this project. It's a visionary project. It's drought resiliency, it's climate resiliency. It's what we need across the region and the nation. We're going to be working specifically in the region to continue the collaboration with the mayor and the city on all the permitting requirements that are needed to make sure we see the project into fruition. So it's great to be here. All the lifelong work on these projects, it's just extraordinary, and I really want to congratulate San Diegans for making this investment in their future and their children's future. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mayor. I am Joe LaCava. I am the council member for District 1, and as a registered civil engineer, there is nothing more exciting to me than come out and watch this infrastructure being built. I remember being on one of the working groups before I got elected to help make this project go forward. And we are so honored that the two of you would be willing to come out and actually see what we've been talking about and to give your support to make it possible, whether the technical expertise, the financial support, the regulatory environment we have to work in. We are so honored that you would be willing to take your time. And I want to thank the mayor. The mayor has made a tremendous commitment to build better in San Diego, to really change the conversation about infrastructure. This is the biggest infrastructure project we're doing, but one of so many as we begin to change what San Diego is and make sure that it really is a San Diego for all San Diegans. And as you've heard, that in the face of the existential threat of climate change, San Diego is committed to being a national leader in fighting climate change, to do our fair share, and to build the resiliency to protect our residents, our infrastructure, on our economy. And that's what this project really does. We just passed a climate action plan, or at least my committee passed a climate action plan. We'll be going to full council soon. But pure water really changes the whole dynamics of who we are as a city. It really does kind of a triple win, and really want to remind ourselves that it reduces our reliance on imported water. As you heard the mayor say, when it's fully built out by all three phases, it will deliver over 50% of our drinking water. No longer are we going to have to rely on the expensive and power intensive that it takes to bring water from Northern California down to San Diego. And we all know that we're at the end of the pipeline. And importantly, and we were talking about this during the tour, it reduces our wastewater load on our Point Loma treatment plant. A few years ago, we were talking about spending billions of dollars to upgrade the Point Loma treatment plant, only to send all that water out into the Pacific Ocean. This changes the whole thinking of that. No longer will we have to spend that money down at Point Loma. We will now spend the money here in this facility, and we'll get that water back that we can reuse and fill those thirsty San Diegans who are looking for us. And we're going to be able to power this with 100% renewable power delivered by San Diego community power. So not only is it resilient in terms of reusing this water, but it is going to meet our climate action plan goals by using renewable energy. And again, it is all about sustainability and resiliency for our region. This is what it takes. This is what bold leadership really delivers. And in closing, with Mayor Gloria, my colleagues in the City Council, and the amazing and dedicated 11,000 employees that it takes to pull something like this together. And I do not want to forget the employees that really make this possible and the contractors that they've recruited to make this happen. This is what you can do. You can do big things and be successful. So thank you for coming out, and I'll turn it back over to the mayor.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah, I know. We'll take a couple quick questions. I know the assistant administrator and regional administrator have a pressing appointment elsewhere, but happy to try and field some questions between the four of us. Yes.
Mayor these projects are obviously very expensive. So what can the city do, or what is the city planning to do to ensure this water rates are stabilized throughout the project?
Well, definitely give the council member a chance, but I would say quickly, number one, this is about maintaining affordability. When we control our own water destiny, when we're not at the mercy of other water agencies that we have to solicit water from, then we have some more self-determination, and the focus on affordability can be front and center in that conversation. That's number one. Number two, we're not waiting for this to come online to address affordability issues. We have 10 representatives at the County Water Authority. They have clear direction from me that affordability is a top of mind concern. And so when questions about rate increases happen, and they do happen because this stuff is not cheap, the point is that we want to ask, is every percentage point that they're being asked of San Diegans necessary? And I think that when we start asking those questions, as we've been doing, the number, interestingly, comes down. So as the son of a maid and a gardener, I'm always concerned about what it costs to make ends meet in a town as expensive as San Diego, and that focus on affordability with our current providers, and then as we move forward with our own resource, that's how we'll make sure that we contain the cost as much as possible for consumers. And Joe, I don't know if you have anything else to add.
I want to make sure they have a chance to ask questions to the folks from the EPA.
Let me just say one other thing on the affordability issue. I think one thing that San Diego, the mayor, and the city council have been excellent at is really trying to find the lowest cost financing options that are out there to fund this project. So, for example, the 2 WIFIA loans that EPA has provided towards this project is going to be saving the ratepayers of San Diego close to, I think, $500 million. We can get you that exact number, but I think you have been really effective, Mayor, at trying to identify the lowest cost financing available to deliver this project.
I think we had a question, a Spanish language question. Did you want to answer?
Sí. Ok, muy bien. Bueno, es un orgullo estar aquí, Martha Guzmán, con la EPA, la Agencia de Protección Ambiental, y estamos aquí con la ciudad y el liderazgo que tomó para proveer esta infraestructura que nos va a dar el poder de poder sobrevivir sobre sequías, sobre el cambio climático. Y aquí en San Diego, más que nada, están dando el ejemplo que podemos tener estos recursos localmente. Es realmente un sueño que mucha gente aquí en la ciudad estuvo abogando por más de 2 décadas. Y estando aquí viendo la construcción es algo sumamente maravilloso, y les quiero dar las gracias a todos los San Diegans que han apoyado este proyecto y realmente darles las felicidades que tienen esa infraestructura para ser más resilientes para el cambio climático y las sequías.
Can someone, I know we have our 2035 goal. Can someone just break down like some more concrete timeline? Like, when is this going to be completed? When are we going to get water flowing? When are we going to start really implementing that water?
Well, James, do you want to put you on the spot? 2025 and 2035 are key numbers, but James Nagelvort, who is the guiding star behind this project.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for joining us. James Nagelvort, City of San Diego. Great question. So Pure Water is actually 2 phases. You're looking at phase 1. Phase 1 is under construction right now. The deadline the goal to complete all of this is June, July of 2025. It's going to produce for the northern portion of San Diego 30 MGD, million gallons per day of drinking water that comes out of that. After that, and really, right now we're in the early planning stages of what we call phase 2. Phase 2 deals with the rest of the San Diego area now. The target for that is a little further out in the future, 2035. There's a lot of work that still needs to be done. And so that's the 2 phases, phase 1 and phase 2.
And how many households does that impact, that number that you just gave for daily?
Well, phase 1 and phase 2 ultimately impact all households when they're done. I don't know how many households that is in the city, but it'll ultimately. But when we talk about northern San Diego, you're talking about the areas of Council District 5, 1, 6, those areas and that. And then eventually, of course, by 2035, it's going to affect everybody in San Diego.
Sorry, I mean, when you say, and the number just escaped me, but X amount of water that we'll be producing every day, how many people will that give?
So
water?
we estimate by 2035, the 83 million gallons is going to be nearly half the water supply for all the citizens of San Diego at that point. So for the whole population.
James, are you facing any delays in supply chain or inflationary costs?
Every construction contract, I would imagine, in the country is facing those challenges. So because of COVID, you're having inflation and supply chain challenges, yes. And every day we're working through it.
Your timeline for completion of phase 1?
So it's been a challenge of resequencing events, steel pipeline material, stuff like that, where we're still staying on target, still pushing on that. But I got to tell you, it's an everyday challenge.
I have a question. We've been focusing a lot on wastewater and treatment, especially with COVID-19. Is there any part of that that will be permanently part of this process, considering COVID-19 is here to stay? When we're always talking about wastewater
Testing.
these days.
Can you repeat that?
Allie may know. Do you know?
Oh.
Speak to the 5-step treatment process and how that would address.
Right.
Like, will it treat specifically COVID-19?
It will.
Is that something nobody's talking
Yeah, so we have a test facility behind us with the actual equipment that's going to be installed in our permanent facility, and we've run over 50,000 lab analyses to show that at the end of that 5-step process, there's nothing remaining in the water. Each process is capable of removing contaminants in the water, and we have 5 steps to, it's a belts and suspenders approach to make sure there are multiple barriers to.
Was that a process that already existed before COVID-19?
Yes. There are 3 processes that are in operation at a full-scale facility in Orange County, and then the city has added an additional 2 steps for that added safety.
So in response to COVID-19, I guess I'm just trying to find out, are there any changes or adjustments?
No, there haven't been, because we tested the water for over 300 contaminants, and so those represent a wide array of contaminants, and so we feel that that's representative in demonstrating that it'll be able to remove viruses like COVID.
We need to let the administrators.
Sure.
Thank you.
I'm happy to do one-on-ones if anyone needs additional stuff.
One more question. You guys can go. Thank you.
Very good.
Thank
Thank
you
you
so
very
much.
much for coming out. It means a lot. It means a lot to us. Thank you very much.
Doesn't work without them, so.
We're talking city right now. Is there a world where other parts of San Diego County may be getting water from here?
Yeah.
Or is this
Oh.
going to be the city?
This is the city. I mean, we supply other. What is the answer to your question is that other cities are emulating what we're doing. You see the East County, Oceanside, and other folks are standing up their own pure water programs, really following our lead. But as you can see by the national interest in what we're doing, it doesn't really stop here in San Diego County. Other cities across this nation are moving towards this. We just happen to be on the front end of it.
So they'll be building their own facilities. Then.
Correct.
There isn't a world where they would contract with this facility or anything and
No.
get water from here.
I mean, we are part of a regional water network, but this is being created to supply the city of San Diego.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. All right. Everyone good? Thank you for being here.